Hello and welcome to Don't Feed the Geeks, presented by the Long Island Comic Guys, the masters of the geeky-verse. Well, welcome back, Geek Freaks. We have a special episode today. Our buddy Oz from Best Comics. He does a lot of other stuff too, but we're mostly representing him as from Best Comics. He's joining us today for our Running a Local Comic Shop episode. But as always, we're also joined by JJ.
What up, guys? How are you?
And Toy Story.
What's up?
All right. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing good?
Good. Good to have you here, Oz.
Good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I think the last time we had you on was one of our book clubs.
Yes, Thumbs.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you back to talk about what goes into like the nitty gritty of really getting the shop going, some ordering questions we have. But before we do that, we're going to let Toy Story take away the geek beat.
Yes, I will. So to start us off, big event in the video game world last week. Both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X were released. One on Tuesday, one on Thursday. They always do that the same week as each other. And they're obviously impossible to get as usual. They actually, I don't know if they did this with Xbox, but Sony said that they wouldn't be selling any of them in store for the foreseeable future. It's going to be online orders only. So you can't even chance, a Best Buy or Target shipment. And basically anytime that stock goes up on any site, they're gone in 20 seconds to bots. So it's going to be real impossible for anybody to get these for a while.
I've seen a lot of those bots selling them in the secondhand market.
Yeah. People are paying like
$1,000.
As usual, it's every system that does this.
I remember back when the Xbox 360 came out, they were selling for like $7,000.
Yeah, because that was a big thing, that 360.
2006.
Mm-hmm.
We tried. So hilarious story. My cousins lived upstate, and we drove up there. We're like, we're gonna go to Walmart at like 10 o'clock at night. We'll just wait in line all night, and we get there at like 10:15. There's like 30 cops there. Like, what the hell happens? Like, it's shut down. Somebody pulled a gun. It's done. I was like, in the middle of nowhere, upstate. I was like, so I was gonna buy a car. I wasn't even gonna keep one. I was like, easy. Like, that's it. I'm gonna be set for a couple months. But that didn't happen that way. But I saw with all the other dopes we're doing with the Xbox, they had to put out a public service announcement because everyone was blowing their vape in it.
Yeah. They were putting the vape in it so that it would smoke on the top. And they were like, the Xbox is catching fire. So stupid.
Now is Sony doing this because they're like just killing like the secondary market?
Probably. I can't think of any reason why they would underproduce. Like, it can't be a matter of they underestimated demand. Like, they know what demand's going to be.
Of course.
They're definitely in on it somehow, I think.
They've had 5 tries to get it right.
Yeah.
Failed again.
I also heard they're going to have like, they might not be back in stores, but they're going to have like plenty in December and stuff like that, like on their website directly.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Like, so I mean, I've never been the person to like buy these right away. Like, unless they were like easy to get, like I might have gotten them for Christmas or something like that. But like, I'm thinking I probably won't even try to get this thing until like June.
I usually get them release day. This is actually the first console that I didn't, the first one I wanted that I didn't get release day.
Yeah.
And it was just because I saw the list of games coming out for release day, and there was like one I wanted to play, and it was also coming out on PS4. So there's really no point.
Oh, the Spider-Man one?
Yeah, exactly. Which I didn't even get yet. So
Yeah, me either. It's just too much fun.
Wait it out.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But in other news, very sad story. So as everybody knows by now, I think Alex Trebek has passed away. Obviously very well known for Jeopardy, and everybody knew he was very sick for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
So I think he ended up pushing on much longer than he or anybody else expected. So it was great that he got that extra time.
It's funny. I think we touched upon like Sean Connery passing last episode, and I think he literally passed right after that. And I don't know if you guys have seen the meme, but like they had like a classic thing, like where they would do Will Ferrell was Alex Trebek, and I forgot the guy who did Sean Connery on Saturday Night Live, but it was hilarious. And somebody put like a meme out there. It's like, "Gotcha again, Trebek!" Like the pearly gate. It was awesome. Like, that's cool. It was just it's so amazing, like how like many people were like outpouring of love. But when you think about it, like Matt, I know like you for sure. I don't know if Jim and Oz, but like that's been on. Like he's been hosting that show my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't remember anybody else doing it.
No, there hasn't. He started it, and
I don't even remember seeing older episodes. The older episodes were just him.
I mean, I remember when he had the mustache. It took me like 5 years to get used to him not having the mustache. Like there was 3 people who always had mustaches: Tom Selleck, Alex Trebek, and Burt Reynolds. Like those people had to have a mustache. But yeah, it's crazy. And I heard, I think his last episode is going to be like on Christmas or something like that.
He filmed it a week and a half before he died. The last episode.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, very sad. But he will be immortalized through the show, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So next up, on a more positive note, WandaVision finally has a release date on Disney Plus. It'll be coming out, or the first episode, I think, will begin streaming on January 15th.
So this is going to be the first anything we're getting from Marvel
Since Endgame?
Since Endgame, is that correct?
No, since the Spider-Man movie.
Spider-Man. Okay, the last Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
That's bananas.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure you guys are too.
Yeah. Looking forward to Mephisto appearing, as they suspect he's going to.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people. I'm trying to like stay away from all those spoilers. It's just too much. Like I just want to enjoy it.
I know.
I think it is going to be the same like weekly, like The Mandalorian, right?
I hope it is. I don't like it all at once.
Yeah, I do like that too. Because then like I don't want to have to be forced to watch so much of it. Because then like there's people who will just sit there for like as soon as it comes out for like 11 hours and watch all the thing, and then like the spoilers like hit the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather like just one at a time. I like that personally. I know a lot of people don't. But
Me too. All right, next up, also in the MCU, Chris Pratt has officially joined Thor: Love and Thunder as a cast member. I think everybody figured he'd be in this movie, though. Right?
I was surprised that was an announcement. I thought it was announced that. I mean, obviously he went off with them at the end of that game. I was just assuming.
I was like, whatever they do next, Star-Lord and Thor are going to do something together.
I thought it was going to be basically Guardians of the Galaxy 3 plus Thor.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still looking forward to that movie. I love the Thor movies, even though 2 was a little.
Yeah. That's probably one of the weakest movies in the entire MCU.
It is. 1 and 3 I love, though. Of course.
Yeah.
I think everybody does. Yeah. All right. Next up, we have a Darkwing Duck reboot coming up on Disney Plus. Apparently it's in the works right now. TC.
Yes.
I'm very happy about that.
I'm pumped about this. I'm going to talk more about this later, but they've been teasing about it on the Ducktales series that's going on. And I didn't know, but this is going to be Disney Plus exclusive. I'm out of my mind. I would love if they got Jim Cummings to do this. He's still alive. I think he's still fairly youngish. If they could get his voice, that would be absolutely amazing.
Are they going to make it like the Ducktales? Because I don't like the way that's drawn right now. Like I like the classic Duck.
Yeah, no, it is different, and I mean, I have the preference to the old style. But they've been so good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it's going to be the same as that, though.
Cool.
Guess we'll see. All right, next up, another new series in the works, Wonder Girl over at the CW. Do you want to talk a little bit about this? Because I don't know anything about the CW shows.
So it's interesting. I actually looked into this today. So my theory is they're kind of doing this to replace the Supergirl show that's exiting this year, and I think she's gonna like kind of fill that slot. The weird part is, so they're going with this. I think her name is J4 or something like that. So she's gonna be a Latin American Wonder Girl, but this character hasn't even been released in comics yet. Her first appearance is supposed to be in the DC's Future State, Oz?
Yeah.
Is that the name? The DC's Future State comic line story or event. So she hasn't even been released yet. It's really weird that they're pushing a character that hasn't even been proven as like someone they like in comic books.
That's true, yeah.
But wait. Isn't Wonder Girl Diana Troy?
There's a lot of there's what's that?
It should be Donna. It was Donna Troy.
She was the first one, right?
Yeah.
And then there's also someone like Cassie something. There's another Wonder Girl. There's like this is going to be like I think the third Wonder Girl.
Yeah.
I mean, I get they're trying to push like these diverse character lines, but they're not even given the opportunity for like a fan base to build on this. Like they're trying to create the fan base out of the show, I guess. So I mean, so you'll know right away now whatever book it is that he's going to show up in comics, whatever future state event. I mean, I would order more of those because everyone's going to buy it because she's going to be in this TV show, which I'll probably stay away from because the TV show characters are never hold the value that the movie actors get for whichever reason. But it's just weird. I like these things to happen more organically, and I feel like they're forcing this.
It's forced.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, I have a little bit to talk about on this one. So
okay. Yeah, so we have the first full trailer has been released for Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max.
So
the Justice League remake.
It's not really a remake, I don't think.
It's
Okay.
8 hours long.
It's not like a
8
remake
hours
though.
long.
It's
It's 94 additional minutes.
it's a different cut, as they say.
It's 94 additional. That's an hour and
That's
a
a
half.
movie.
That's another movie.
It's an additional movie long.
All right. So let me go through this.
Go, please.
I want to say quickly that I've said this many times. I didn't hate the theatrical release of Justice League. I know I'm in the minority there.
I liked it much better than Batman Superman.
100%. What I was just about to say next. I think it was much better than Batman vs Superman. Was it great? Absolutely not. Nothing. I don't think the DC universe has made a perfect movie. Honestly, in my opinion, and I say I'm biased for being a Superman fan, Man of Steel is the best movie they've made from that universe. Second, probably Aquaman. Third, Wonder Woman.
That's about right.
Well, debatable, JJ, but so I don't know. That I just want to put that out there. Will I think this will be better than what they've done? Like I just said before, it's 90 more minutes. It's another movie. It's another movie being added to the storyline, and it includes like our favorite superheroes of all time, more heroes that weren't even in that, characters that weren't in that. So yeah, I'm sure with 90 extra minutes, it's going to be better. But it's crazy.
It was short too, the original one, right? I think it was under 2 hours.
Yeah, it was 2 hours and like 15 minutes.
Wow.
We'll put it in a story tomorrow to see who gets more votes on that one. Jake.
I know the answer to that. It's all right. But the truth is,
not true.
So is Jared Leto in this? Was that confirmed?
I believe they said he is. Yeah.
Ugh, that's unfortunate.
I mean, the thing is, are we all going to watch it? Is anyone here not going to watch it?
I'm absolutely going to watch it, yeah.
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, we're all gonna watch it. Whatever we're going to say about it is regardless. Now, do I think it's necessary for them to even do this? Like, how many millions of dollars are they spending on this?
Yeah, I would have rather them just do another part 2 or something,
So
they're only doing it because people have been screaming about it for the last 3 years.
This is my take on it. The only reason that this isn't like a glorified extended edition DVD version of this movie is if they take this opportunity to fix whatever plot holes they had and advance like the DC extended universe or whatever they call it for this. If they do that, then fine. Let's do this. I'm on board with it. But if it's just because to like stroke Zack Snyder's ego because this isn't the movie that he dreamed up, I mean, like, why are we throwing money at this? Like, I literally don't understand otherwise.
Well, at DC Fandom, you saw glimpses of Flashpoint. Flash is running through the timeline.
I mean, that's what's going to really fix this movie.
Right. And I think
universe,
that's what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and use that as a jumping off point for the Flashpoint movie.
I hope they do, and if they do that, I'm fine with them, like, going back and spending all this money on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if they make it worse than the first one, I'm gonna be like, oh boy.
I don't think it could be worse.
You can make an hour and a half of like.
Well, the first one was so choppy because Zack Snyder left like 3/4 of the way through. Because was it his daughter who died?
Yes.
Yeah, and then Joss Whedon came in and did whatever he did.
Listen, it's two different styles. Like,
exactly, that doesn't work.
There's two different styles. Joss Whedon probably didn't love the final product as much, but it wasn't his movie to begin with.
Same thing with Solo. That happens with all those movies who switch directors or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think anything could have made that movie good though. I have to watch that again, but that'll be for another day.
It is my guilty pleasure. I very much enjoy that movie.
I just don't like him. There's very few characters where like I can't get on board with someone else playing them.
It's the second best of the new Star Wars movies by far.
Not saying much.
I know it's not, but it is.
I don't know if I'll agree with that, but maybe
we'll debate that later on.
All right, so I want to add on to something. Are we done with the Zack Snyder?
Yeah.
All right, so we forgot one here. I mean, Suicide Squad and Sylvester Stallone.
Oh my God, you were
Ooh,
right.
good
I
one.
mean, how do we not forget that? I mean, they still.
I remember it.
Yep, they still they haven't announced who he's playing in it, but he's going to be in it. I don't know how much he's going to be in it, but it was a pretty big deal.
I just realized that I didn't even put two and two together. I assumed he was going to play. When I saw the picture of him and James Gunn, I was like, oh, he's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I was like, oh wait, shit, that's not the same thing. Oh man, that's a total mind blow.
That's funny.
Huge.
That's great.
What speculation? I mean, what could he play?
He's going to be Starro. He's going to be the giant star with the eye. Oh man, I have no idea. I can't even think. Like, I don't even know. Like, all these characters are so like random in this movie.
Yeah.
And you guys, Oz, you would probably know better than me. I wish we had Zach here. He would know like the backstory and every single one of those characters that was in this movie.
This is a Bondoc and Bojo.
Yeah, Bondak and Davino.
Sure, right?
I have no idea who half these characters are.
Yeah.
But you know who's better?
We'll debate that on the Solo debate episode too.
Does he have an ongoing continuing series in comics, by the way, right now?
He still does.
Oh.
Until the end of this month, right? Oh man. All right,
and then one more thing. So I recently read that they might be releasing Wonder Woman, the new Wonder Woman, on Christmas Day, either both in the theaters and on HBO
like in
Max.
theaters that are allowed to.
Yep, and HBO Max.
I haven't heard that. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I don't know what they're going to do with all these movies. They can't hold them forever.
They can't hold them forever. That's the problem.
Well, it's holding everything else up.
Yeah.
Completely.
And I want to see these before I die. I mean, really.
Essentially.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, shall we go to our last piece?
Yeah, this is really interesting. Do you want to take it away? Or? Yeah,
sure. So this was circulating over the last week. Apparently, Ethan Van Sciver, an artist who's been working at DC for many years, he's said that AT&T is going to be closing down DC Comics publishing, and the rumor is that Jim Lee's going to be leaving, and they're going to strip all the titles down to like 12 or less going forward, possibly all digital, and just focus all their efforts on having DC characters in film and TV and all that.
So there's some truth to that.
Some?
They're going to scale back. I think it's 12 titles that'll be published. Everything else is going digital. So you'll continue getting Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Detective, Action.
You'll get the main stuff.
So you'll get the 12 Superman and Batman titles they publish every week.
No Aquaman, no Young Justice, no Teen Titans, none of that stuff.
I
can't see them closing it down.
But I can't even see them taking a lot of these titles away. I mean, what are the number? Like, I'd love to know what number. Like, what are the numbers, sales numbers for some of these titles? Because I mean, people read some of this stuff still.
They do,
and like the feel of it.
The comic book conversation.
Oh well.
I mean, people are reading it. It's just this. I don't know. It's just gotten really weird with DC being released on Tuesday now instead of Wednesday.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'll get more to details, but like this coming month of December if you're a DC reader, it sucks for you. You're going to get bombarded with so much stuff in one shot. And it just doesn't make any sense.
Wait, it sucks because there's a lot coming out?
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I've been doing the DC orders, and it's the month of December is horrible.
I want to touch on those DC orders later when we talk about the comic shop and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot there right now, too.
So have you heard any truth to like them possibly being like trying to shop the DC publishing altogether?
No, that I haven't heard. That I haven't heard. I mean, I don't know. I just something's up over there. Something is.
I mean, you know, there's been so many like Jeff Johns like is out, right? He's moving moving with one of his titles to Image.
Mm-hmm.
That was originally supposed to be at DC. I mean, I'm hearing this. I mean, I don't think anybody's shedding any tears for Jim Lee. I mean, that guy's already like a multi-millionaire. I'm sure he'll be fine and he'll get like a crazy buyout even if he does leave. But they were saying like, you know, I was reading that there's like a new editor in chief and like all new comics are going directly to that person, and Jim Lee isn't signing off on anything right now. So
I there's been rumors of that, but I don't know if there's any truth to it.
All right.
I mean,
I guess it's just like another wait and see thing. I honestly, at this point, I think Warner Brothers had their time with these products, and well, AT&T or whoever the owner is now, and like maybe it is time to move on. Like I joked in like one of our posts earlier, where it's just like, hey, how about we just sell this to Sony? Sony sells Spider-Man back to Marvel, and the world is all at peace here. You know, like let somebody else do something with these DC characters. It's just, I hate like this inconsistency. Yeah. Like these like 5 Batman movies, like, yeah, we get it because we're like so in the weeds with this. Like, yeah, this is its own thing. You know, it's not related to this thing. Like a casual fan who's like, oh yeah, I like to go and watch the Batman movies. They're like, why are there 3 Batmans on TV on the screen at the same time? It's just, it's too much. You know, why are there 3 Jokers? Why are there like, you know, however many other, there's 2 Flashes. You know, people don't get it. It's,
yeah.
You know,
you tell an average person that they're like, what do you mean there's 2 Flashes?
Yeah, like you have to have like a comic book degree pretty much to like understand what's going on in these things. And I think they're just making it too complicated.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that was all we had for the Geek Beat, right?
Yep, that's about it.
All right. So you guys want to move into our topic for today?
Let's do it.
The nitty-gritty of running a local comic shop. As we have a lot of questions for you. Hopefully you're not bombarded with all of these, but
I'll try my best to answer them.
I think these are well suited for you to be able to answer. But I think the first thing we wanted to talk about is, I think the thing that's might be most interesting to people is, how does the ordering process work? Like, so when you guys have to order comic books, like, you know, like what does it look like for the comic shop who are ordering these books, who are trying to get like these variants that everybody wants? You know, how do you know how many books to order every week or month? And how far in advance do you have to order these?
So we're ordering them. Marvel and everything else other than DC gets ordered about 2 months in advance.
And that's through Diamond, right?
That's
Previews?
Diamond. Yes. Yep. It helps that we have customers that fill out previews. So that gives us a rough idea of, okay, we definitely know these customers are taking this because this is what they want.
So for the people who like don't know, there's like that huge like catalog that comes. It was that monthly. It comes into the store. So there's the huge previews catalog, and people will buy that and fill it out and hand it into you guys, right?
Right.
The order form.
In the order form, and that order form is going to have not just the books. It's going to have trades, T-shirts, toys, statues. It has everything.
Okay.
So if you're going into a shop and you don't know what you want to jump into, I always tell people pick that book up, because they give you little hints as to what's going to be popular, what they think, speculating what's going to be big. And it's helpful. It's helpful. Now, as far as the variant process goes, that's a complete cluster.
To say the least.
Is it a cluster?
It was an F cluster, trust me. It's just, So Eternals has 26 variants coming out.
That's
Only?
ridiculous.
Yeah, well, 26 that you can order through Diamond, and then God knows how many other ones. We saw 6 images. We have no idea what the other 20 look like. So we are literally taking a stab in the dark because we don't know what's going to be popular. J. Scott Campbell's got 2 different covers. So how many do you order? So it's a complete gamble. We don't know.
So and those are the variants that you have to just order those like one at a time, right? Those aren't like, incentive variants, right?
Right. Those are just normal variants. And then
So like each book will have so normally a lot of these books have at least 2 covers, right? Weekly. Like Batman has like an A and a B cover normally, right? Sometimes even more than that, right?
Right.
So you guys have to figure out how many of each of those you have to order each week, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So we're taking a complete stab in the dark. So that's why when people call and say, why don't you have it? It's, well, we only ordered 10 because we didn't know what the cover looked like. Sometimes we do get a good advance notice, like the Chadwick Boseman Spawn variant.
Yeah.
We
Luckily, because of Todd McFarlane posting it.
Right.
Yeah,
so we took pre-orders on that, and then we kind of played it, like doubled it just to be safe. And even then, those completely blew out by that morning. So it's going off of what people normally read, following basically your sales, keeping track of your sales, seeing how much they read. And then when you know it's a number 1 or a first appearance, you kind of bump it up a little bit. And with the variants, it's a complete shot in the dark. It's without being able to see some of them, it's hard. You're just taking a complete shot in the dark.
Because you don't know what people are going to be interested in either, especially if you don't know what it looks like.
Right. Like Peach
even if it's an artist that like people like, you don't know.
Right. So Peach Momoko next month, or January, I should say, she just signed a contract with Marvel to do covers. So she's a super hot artist right now, but she's bombarding the market so much that I don't see it carrying over like it used to.
Yeah.
Because there's so much out there. So now what do you do?
And I feel like the same thing just happened like a little while ago with Delato. I felt like there was some like Delato books that were really hot, and then I don't know if it was, I think it was DC who signed them, but then like every cover was like a Delato cover, or maybe it was Marvel. There was just so many of them.
It was DC. Yeah. They were bombarding you with Delato covers. So.
And the same thing with that guy, like Francisco. It was the same thing. Like, oh, I love this art. Like, I picked up the early books, and now like every cover B is like a Francisco Mattina cover.
Yeah.
Like the same. I think Josh Middleton too. He had that like amazing Batgirl cover, the one that like blew up everywhere, and then like he does like 100 covers. Like I know there's like a couple really awesome ones that he did for Aquaman. Like those are really nice ones that he did. Like a couple of those picked up, but then like it died. Like he's doing like 20 covers a week. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's hard. You're trying to catch that right artist at the moment, but variants is tough. Like we have variants that sit there for weeks, and then all of a sudden everybody wants it, and you have stuff that just ends up sitting on the shelf. It just never sells. I mean, the Alex Ross Timeless covers, they were great, but I didn't think they were anything special. They were simple covers, but now I see people selling them for $15-$20 on eBay.
Yeah, and those, I felt like they didn't pick up steam the first few weeks.
No, it was only till the entire run was through that everybody all of a sudden wanted them.
Yeah, I started seeing them more and more on Facebook and everything. People posting them like weeks after they were out.
Right.
It was weird.
So it's hard. It's hard to gauge. I mean, you're basically just going off what you sold previous months to your normal readers and your normal people, and you bump up things here and there, like that mirror character that just came out in Detective. I bumped up the order, didn't go so good. And
really?
But then you had the ghost character. What's his name? I forget. That just came out.
Ghostface Killer, I think.
That I hit it right on the money. Like we sold out through those books, both variant cover and normal cover. So sometimes it's a shot in the dark. Sometimes you're going off what preview says. We go through the book, Chris is the guy that orders with me. We analyze it, and we kind of go through it and take a stab at it.
And for like collectibles and stuff like that and the statues, is it a similar process, or is that like basically like only on an ad hoc basis, whoever wants one, you order one?
So it is kind of both.
Okay.
Certain stuff I'm not going to bring into the store. It's not going to sell. But the little baby Yoda you picked up, we brought those in. We couldn't even. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. My dog is flipping out right now. So, and I think we sold them. You bought the first one, and then the rest of them sold within an hour. So,
oh my god, its eyes move. That's so funny.
He thinks it's hilarious too.
So I mean, pops. I never thought we'd still be ordering pops at this point.
Dude, stores have walls of pops.
Yeah,
and that's like all they do.
But they sell. That's the thing. Like, it's cheap. You're not spending $50-$60 on an action figure.
But do they all sell though?
Eventually they do. I mean, believe it or not, yeah, he keeps going. Eventually they do. I mean, you sit on them for a while, and then all of a sudden, once these things start getting volted, everybody wants them.
Yeah, I feel like some stores have like a lot of real estate tied up with the pops though. Like, if you're just gonna do that, is that like, I don't know if that's like a way to go if you're gonna do just pops.
Well, you got to have someone dedicated to do that. Someone watching the trends, someone watching the numbers, someone staying on top of what's popping at the right time.
Popping.
And I think something like that too. You've got to, you can't just sell in the store. I mean, if you have a storefront, you're going to sell those on, eBay and everywhere. I mean, I think you really got to market the hell out of those things.
Right, and you got to be paying attention. Like, remember Rhode Island? I picked up one of those Jimi Hendrix one. Just because it was cool. FYE was there, I picked one up. Coming to find out, it's like $250.
That's amazing.
And I mean, I never thought. I picked it up for my wife. Like, I thought it was cool. It was just, and it took off. So you just got to have someone watching that thing. Listen, there's a store down the street. That's all she does, and she's doing fine. She's been there for a couple of years, and that's all she does. So
I guess if you can make it work, right?
So I want to go back to, so when you order books and everything, if you get stuck with a bunch of books, so, if you got a Superman book because, he's Superman, and you got 50 of these things, I mean, and you don't sell out of them, what happened? What do you do? Do you just put them in a back bin and sell them for $1? I mean, what do you try to do with something like that?
I mean, you try to recoup your costs somehow. Sometimes if it's something somewhat important, you throw it in the back, you kind of got to see how much you get stuck with.
Does that happen often?
With DC, we're getting closer to the numbers where we need to be. Marvel, I say it happens a little bit more often with Marvel. Independents we pretty much sell through because we don't go heavy on those. So it's kind of a guessing game in all reality. You're taking a stab at what you think is going to be hot at the moment.
Wow. Interesting.
So in terms of like, we know that I think we all probably know a lot of the revenue comes from a lot of back issues and, the key books too. But how much, like, what percentage of revenue, at least for like the best comics, comes from like new issues versus like back issues?
It's not a lot. It's not a lot. I mean, I can't give you a percentage per se. It's not as much as you think. But what it does is it keeps people coming back into the store to get that other stuff. Like, you'll get a guy walk in on Wednesday, and all of a sudden, Key Collector said this is a hot book, and they're looking for it. Or the rumorville has it that there's a TV show coming out, or a movie, or whatever, so people start hunting for it. So that's what it's there for. I mean, you're not You're not going to survive on just that.
So like you think like if you had to say like maybe like 5 or 10%?
Yeah, I'd say somewhere probably around there. You know, that's what you're getting off that. It's the other stuff people are picking up that's really helping you.
And I mean, you know, I know Image, you know, the independent stuff you guys don't order as much of. So which publisher do you guys usually sell more of? Is it like DC or Marvel? Yeah.
It's kind of even with those two because
Oh, wow.
Marvel's always putting out a new series.
Yeah.
So that's always something popular. That number one, everyone always wants to buy it. And then you have your consistent DC readers that are reading action, Superman, Batman. You know, we sell more Batman than anything else. And then I'd say it's a close tie between Spidey and Superman. But Batman far outsells everything else.
Yeah. So Batman, like even for like those, like I know Diamond puts out those numbers. Is which title is it? Batman or is it Detective? That's like the consistent number one seller.
It's Batman, I think. I see Batman selling more, but Detective is a close second.
Okay.
It's not far off. The numbers are almost equal when we order.
Wow. I mean, it makes sense. Like his stories are usually the better ones. You know, as a Superman and a Spider-Man fan, like you know, Spider-Man's a little bit better than you know Superman with the you know with the campiness. Like you know, Superman's a Boy Scout. You know, he can get boring to read. You know, I think Marvel's closest thing to Batman is like Wolverine. Like, you know, I mean, I hark on this all the time. He's more of an anti-hero than a hero, but I think that's like what gives a lot of the depth to you know Batman's story.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So, like, I know we talked about this earlier as part of like the news. Like, how do you think, especially since you're saying like you know Batman and DC represents at least half the new stuff, if they like really like trim down their titles, how do you think it's going to affect the shops?
It's going to hurt. I mean, like JJ was saying, like you got people that aren't reading Batman, but they're reading Aquaman. They're reading the Wonder Twins. They're reading Legion of Superheroes. Bondok's a perfect example. He doesn't read the main titles. He's reading the offbeat titles. So you kill that customer coming into the store. You're left with they're going digital.
Yeah.
So that's not helping the shop. Now,
Sure.
I will say but like you referred to before with Jeff Johns, what is helping is that these guys are kind of realizing this is stupid. I'm not making the money I should be making. I don't own the rights to these stories. So they're going that independent route. And you're starting to see, hint, what I told you a couple of years back, TC, where those independent titles are going to start taking over the market because, you know, you just don't have the stories there anymore. People are tired of reading, like you said, pick up a Spider-Man issue. It's kind of the same thing over and over. But then you pick up something like Crossover and you're like, whoa, this is completely different. What's going on?
And that's why too, like, you know, it's funny because and we've definitely spoken about this before. I feel like all these independent books are like literally mini screenplays too, where they're like, not only am I going to go and I'm going to put this cool comic book out, it's like as I'm like sending it out to the bookshelves, I'm also sending copies out to like you know production studios and stuff like that, because I feel like you know as books hit the shelves, you're getting like the announcement that day, like, oh yeah, by the way, and this has been picked up. It's like it's Tuesday, like how'd they even know about the story? So it's like you know, it's literally like I feel like a test run for again like a movie or you know a television show. And I mean it's not a bad idea. I mean you know we see all the heavy doing this. I mean you know I know Scott Snyder's big with
Undiscovered Country.
But he's, you know, I think it's him and Charles Soule doing that together on Discovered Country.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, I've seen them at like secret studio locations constantly. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's already out. Like,
yeah,
that's going to be.
I mean, when you read that book for the first time, it reads like a screenplay. That first issue reads like a screenplay.
It was fantastic.
Right, but you can see it. It's a major motion picture. It's a good visually. It's a beautiful TV show. something like Game of Thrones, something big and um, something is killing the children. That's what Tinian's writing right now. That book is super hot. When that book first came out, it had it was on the up, but my God,
I'm so happy I listened to you and bought a copy that day.
I have people calling me every week looking for back issues on that, and they don't want the trades; they want the back issues
because they want to sell.
Right? Because they're gonna it's a darker, more gritty version of a Stranger Things. So it's perfect for cable television, HBO Max. Boom, put it on.
I mean, again, this is going to go back to, how do you think it's helping the shop? But I mean, do you think that it's good to have like all these, TV and movie things like tied into these comics?
Oh, definitely. Because I mean, that's what drives people to come out and get it.
The new people, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that case in point, I mean, look at Stranger Things. I mean, after people were watching that, I mean, you had explosive of Dungeons and Dragons coming out all over, but it was everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that helps the industry, but now the problem is, now the industry is going to fight back, and hence, DC trying to say, we're not going to put trades out, we're just going to go digital, and that's going to hurt a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't blame artists or writers saying, you know what, I'm just going to do this on my own. And I mean, look what's going on with Kickstarter and Indiegogo. You've got these artists and writers taking their product, putting it out there, and then they're getting the funds for that. So they're getting rid of the middlemen,
right?
And it's going to hurt DC, it's going to hurt Marvel, it's going to hurt these other big companies, and it's unfortunate.
It's true.
And I scour like Kickstarter because I love, that's where you find some weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and cool stuff.
So Oz, where do you see kind of the future of like the comic shop going? Like, do you have any like insight? What do you think is going to really be the driving force behind shops? Continuing their existence. Look, people have been saying the comic shops are going to die out. I feel like probably since like the 1990s, and 30 years later they're still here. I don't think they're ever going to look exactly the same as they do now, but
they got to innovate and change.
I think they'll, it's something where. And again, this is something we say all the time. Nostalgia is such a powerful seller. Like, people can't get enough of that. And I think as long as there's a market for that stuff, like, there's always going to be buyers for it, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, you're right. But you've got to sort of, like Tom used to say, you've got to adapt with the times.
Yeah.
You've got to have a little bit of everything to draw people in. We brought that, you saw that I posted on Instagram, that huge Bruce Lee collection of Eastbay figures. Those things have been gone since forever. Some of those things are up on eBay for $1,000 because you can't find them.
Eastbay does great stuff. I have like a Michael Jordan one they did years ago, and it's just incredible.
Yeah, and so it's gonna fall. Tom's wife now, who owns Best Comics, Christine's always saying, like, you're sitting. If this does happen where DC decides, well, that's it, we're not going to print anything, well, then you're sitting on a gold mine, because this is it. There is no more printing. This is it. What we have here, there will be no more physical copies. So that dollar bin book is not $1 anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to go up in value because it's no longer in existence. Could you imagine if Action Comics stops printing? What is that Action One going to go to?
Yeah, it's true.
So it's going to drive the market up. So in a way, I mean, I don't know, like, DC's, it's such a cluster over there. Like, you hear things every other day, things changing. But
what's going on with the distribution of the books?
So
since they left Diamond, because I know it's been a big mishmash of stuff since then.
So as of when they left Diamond, UCS, which is
Midtown, right?
Midtown Comics, they were the distributor on the East Coast, and there was a distribution center on the West Coast. But as of November 29th, that's when I would place my last UCS order. At that point, it's going to Canada, It's like Luminar or something like that distributions.
So the books are coming from Canada?
Yeah, at that point they'll be. Well, they've been coming from Canada. The printing presses are in Canada. So, but now the orders will be going to them.
So why is that? Do we know why that happened? Because that was really short-lived with UCS.
They bit off more than they could chew.
They didn't realize how big of a deal it would be.
Right.
I don't know how you don't realize that, but
Midtown Comics is a huge industry. It's a huge store. There's how many locations now? I think 4.
And their factory is literally just right behind you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Their warehouse
center.
They're trying to, they're trying to do that plus run distribution of all DC Comics on the East Coast. They bit off more than they can chew. It's too much.
It's crazy.
Wow. All right.
I mean, I guess that's a mess.
I guess we'll see.
So what's that process though? So because I'm not sure if we talked about it. So you order from DC. So DC Comics are on Tuesday. Is their process different than ordering from Diamond?
It's disastrous, right?
So what does that look like?
I have to place an order every week.
Whereas it used to be every month.
Right. With Diamond, it's once a month. You have a certain cutoff date. Your final order cutoff date's at a certain point. Everything goes in, and that's it. It's in. Every week, I cannot forget to place the order, because if you forget, you get no books. There's no going back and, hey, I missed it. No, that's it. You get nothing.
Huh. So with Diamond though, so you place that once a month,
right?
Can you change your order in that month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. They allow us time to go back, change it, add, subtract. Not UCS. That's it. Once it's in, that's it.
What do you think the likelihood they wind up back at Diamond?
99%.
Really?
I'm thinking I would be very surprised if they're not back by April.
Okay, well, have you guys seen the new order form for DC?
No.
I've seen you bringing it up on the internet, and it's it literally doesn't even show you what the books looks like.
It's like a piece of paper, and it has the books listed. There's no images. You can't see what you're ordering.
So there's no catalog previews?
No.
Whatsoever.
So not only do you not know what you're ordering, you don't know who the artist is. You don't know what the book is. You don't know if there's anything important happening in the book. So then you got to go out to scour the internet to find out what's going on.
Who thought this was a good idea? I don't know. That's a whole other thing.
Well, I think that's they rushed doing this when they dropped Diamond. I mean, there was no plan, I guess. Right. I would assume, to how they were going to do this. It was like, all right, we're done. See ya, and we'll get Midtown to do this. Nobody put a plan together.
Well, I mean, but Toy Story, you deal with a heavy hitter customer of ours. Mm-hmm. You saw how upset this customer was, because you have to scour the internet to try and find a cover for what.
And then sometimes we can't even provide that for them. Nope. And then they don't understand that.
I will get
what do you mean you don't know what the cover is? I've known you could see the covers for the last 20 years. You could have seen what they would look like.
Right. So this coming Thursday, I have to place my order for UCS. Well, it's due on Sunday, but I placed it on Thursday. I will go down the list and I will see some of the covers. Some of the covers, I'm ordering them, and it says image coming soon. So I don't even know what I'm ordering. I don't know who the variant cover artist might be.
You don't know if it looks like it's going to be a hot cover.
Nope.
You don't know any of that.
Nope.
And that pisses off customers too. It could easily.
Right.
Especially the customers that did previews, because a lot of customers fill out previews 2 months in advance.
Right.
So now what do? They don't.
Right. So it throws off your ordering. You're short here. You're high here. It's a disaster.
So how far in advance do you place the order for DC?
So DC is only about a month in advance.
A month in advance.
So everything even more, right?
Because, so placing for this week would be for the week of the same week in December, the 17th or something. Okay.
Right. So that screws everything up now, because on that order form technically should be for 2 months in advance, but then there's books reappearing on that order form.
And that's BS that they don't have the covers available to see a month in advance.
Right.
Previews had it 2 months in advance all the time.
Right. So, but it gets even better now. So, like I said, the month of December, Batman's on 1 week. Opposite week, you get Detective. Well, the month of December, you get Batman and Detective on the same week, and then you get a Batman issue the week after.
They're not even skipping a week?
No.
because of Christmas and whatever.
So I don't even know. Like I had to wait, I thought I ordered this last week. Why am I ordering Batman again? And I'm going through and I'm like, how is this the next issue? It's so messed up.
So I know you guys. I know we get the books usually on Tuesday. Forever, we've gotten the books on Tuesday for sale on Wednesday. So DC books are actually allowed to be sold on Tuesday now.
Right, you get them on Monday.
Interesting.
Now, has that increased the revenue? Is more people? So, do you have people coming in Tuesday, Wednesday now, or is it?
But it's the same. I mean, they're picking up the same books. It's just now you got people coming in on Tuesday. They want their books, and then they got to come back on Wednesday.
Yeah. Or they wait a day and get everything on Wednesday.
Right.
So are they buying more? Coming in 2 days?
You do see it again, but they're buying. I'm telling you, the stuff that they're buying is more the odd titles.
Mm-hmm. Much less from the big two, right?
Well, I meant are they buying more than what's on their pull list when they're coming in for those 2 days? Like if someone's coming in Tuesday, Wednesday, it's like, oh, I didn't see that, yesterday. Right. I'll pick that up.
Right. So on Tuesday they're picking up their DC books and that's all there is. And then on Wednesday when they come in, they go through the rack and they'll find those odd titles that they're looking for.
I'm a Wednesday or Thursday kind of guy.
Yeah. I'm a no day. The only new books I buy is when Ozzie tells me something's good or hot. I go out and buy it. So I do. So with the previews and with previous customers, because I know we did have a ton of previous customers. So how are you guys handling them with DC right now? Are they just emailing you like everybody else?
Yeah, we're trying to baby them.
Yeah, because they don't know anything else besides the catalog, right?
No, right, and I don't blame them. They're upset because they can't see the covers, and they're like, "So what am I buying? I don't even know what I'm buying." So it's.
Hopefully they appreciate that you don't know either.
Some customers, it's hard for them to understand, I think.
Yeah, they don't believe it. So I'll go to the USCS website and I'll pull it up. I'm like, look, there's not an image. I have no idea. But it says here, on blah, blah, blah website that this is the artist for the variant cover. UCS doesn't have it, so I can't tell you if that's true or not.
That's crazy.
So going back, variant covers. So you've got your normal standard variant covers, and then we have
incentives.
So what's the deal on those?
Oh, so in order to get an incentive, you've got to hit a number. So, for example, 1 in 25, 1 in 50, 1 in 100. That means I got to order 100 titles of that book to get that incentive.
And one incentive.
Right. So if let's say Batman's got a 1 in 25 incentive. So if I've got 3 customers that want those incentive covers, I've got to order 75 issues of Batman to get that 1 incentive cover per customer.
And you might only usually get 40 issues of Batman.
Correct.
And then So then you got to sell the variant for enough to make up what you put into it to get the extra copies because you're not expecting those to sell.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's a racket.
The whole system's ridiculous. It is a racket. It's completely.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I hope that people who are listening to this, appreciate a little bit of the work that you guys have to go through on the back end. I know we didn't say it at the beginning, but you and Chris have been doing a great job taking over at Best since Tommy's passed. I think
I've helped a lot too.
Toy Story did some stuff. We don't know.
Yeah, I sit at home and do it.
Yeah. But we're really kind of. I think I'll just say I think we're kind of proud of how the shop's been going on. I'm sure we're glad that Christine has decided to keep it going, and it seems like things are going as well as can be expected. With everything going on, and, we hope it keeps rolling on for years to come.
I hope so too. And I mean, look, it's heading in a new direction. These new publishers like these Oni, Boom, these guys are putting out great stuff, and people got to give them a try. I hear it all the time. Oh, why can't it just be like the old days? Why can't it? It's not coming back.
You hear that with anything though. Why you have the people saying, "Why can't it be like the old days?"
There's going to be people who are just going to buy those titles until the day they die, and then you're going to have new people who are going to venture out. It's just going to be an evolution. I mean, they could come to a point where Spawn sells more than Batman. You never know. I mean, I think people just get fatigue from the same story, and I don't know if it was JJ or Ozzie, you were saying it. I mean, after a while, you're literally hearing the same story over and over. Like, oh, how's Green Goblin going to screw this up to Spider-Man this time? Or, what's Joker going to do? And Batman's just going to arrest him this time. I mean, it's the same, regurgitation.
Well, that's why a lot of that
it's like an amazing story from them.
That's why the independent stuff is catching on so much, because it's a unique stuff. It's, you're not reading the same thing twice.
Like you were saying before too, like I'm sure the networks and the studios are like, oh wow, people keep complaining about we want to see something new. This is something new, so we might as well go with this story.
And that's
the voice.
Yeah,
that was a complete gamble. No one thought that was going to be what it was, and now every week someone's buying a Boys trade. That's great.
And that's the problem with these big publishers like DC and Marvel. They keep pumping out the same crap.
Right.
I would love for them to take and hear me out. Like, let's finish up a Superman run. Finish it up, and let's put it on the back burner. Let's put it on a shelf for a while. Come up with a new character. Give us a new character, something we've never seen.
That's what they're doing with Aquaman.
I'm okay with that. Put them on the back burner, but come out with something new. Come out with something
new, right?
Innovative, new. Don't give me the same comic and just throw a new character in there. Give us, and that's why the independents are fantastic, because we're getting new content all the time. It's a revolving door with them. I mean, Image, it's amazing what they're coming out with, and I don't understand, like, why hasn't DC, like, oh my God, look at what these guys are doing. Maybe we should do something like this. Like, I'm not sure what's not clicking in their brains over there.
They do.
Tried it a little bit, right?
Yeah, they do. Listen,
it just doesn't.
Vertigo back in the day was amazing when you had Sandman and Constantine, and that was, I mean, Gaiman pretty much saved the comic book industry at that point with Sandman. That was, everyone was reading that book. And that's getting a TV show too. Then what happens is someone always comes along and thinks, why don't we kind of, this is a little too dark. Why don't we kind of tame it down so we can get more people reading it? And that's where it takes a left-hand turn. I mean, Look at Black Label. Started out fantastic. And then the last Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey book was nothing more than the cartoon that's on DC Universe.
Yeah. And I think that was all just a ploy to get more money. I mean, it just, I don't know. I like, you're right. The start of the whole Black series was great, and it just went downhill. And you can't even get those digitally. So I don't know.
And also remember, Image has got a very unique way of working. I don't know if you guys understand. It's a revolving door as to who's in charge. You have a set time that you're sitting there at the head of the table, and then that person steps down and the next new guy steps in. So there's always fresh new blood in charge. There's always fresh ideas coming in. You don't really get that with the big guys. Generally what they tend to do is they hire a great writer, they hire a good artist here, and then, okay, we'll give this to the new guy that has no name, no establishment, nothing. And every once in a while you hit gold. Donny Cates is a perfect example. Who was Donny Cates? He was no one. But he did a bunch of independent stuff. His name started picking up traction. And now he's writing everything that everyone wants to read at Marvel.
Sure.
So, all
right. Well, do you guys want to dip into our reading and watching ending segment? Before we go to that, I think you're actually right with what you're saying. And this isn't like to, front Superman. I don't think you can back burner like a Batman Superman one.
No, and that was the first name that popped into my head.
It is true. They do need, I think they do need to take a break. The problem is I feel like the people who read those don't want new stories. And that's the problem. The people who want new stories go to Image, go to other. They're not looking.
But I used to say the same thing. And now the problem is those same guys that used to read Wolverine aren't reading Wolverine anymore. They're dropping it. Those same guys that were reading Spidey aren't reading Spidey anymore. They're dropping it. So yeah, I know. So it's, and they say the same thing. It's just, there's nothing new. There's nothing innovative. There's nothing fresh. You know, they come out with a great idea. Let's kill Wolverine. And then
how long is it? You're literally, as you read him dying, like, all right, well, how long until they bring him back?
Right. and you know, and I don't know. It's just, in a lot of ways, I think we're in maybe people are going to kill me for saying this, but it's like a new golden age of comics where the writer is what people are looking for, not the artist anymore. We love the art. We all buy it. We all go looking for it, but it's the writer that people are looking for. I mean, again, Cates is a perfect example. You know, anything he writes, somebody wants to buy.
Jason Aaron, too. I mean, yeah. Jason Aaron's another guy too. He was one on Thor, right? I mean, in terms of writers, those two guys have to be the two hottest in comics right now, especially from the big boys.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really keeping Marvel alive is those the Venom and the Thor books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that, you know, those are like not your normal hot title. And I know the Immortal Hulk book is another one where like it has a hot writer. Who's that? Al Ewing on that one?
Al Ewing's writing that, yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong at all. And I can't even think of like a DC book that's hot like that. I mean, probably, I guess, Batman, right? But other than that,
it's just
like,
always hot, Batman.
It's not hot for any particular reason. Like there's not a great story going on right now, as far as I know.
The only one that sticks out in my mind in the whole DC world was the whole Talon run. I mean, that was written fantastic. That was drawn fantastic. And that, for some reason, when I think of a great DC run, that's the one that comes to my mind.
And that's almost 10 years ago at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I will tell you the hottest person I think on the DC side right now, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier, and it is a Batman book, but Sean Gordon Murphy. That
White Knight and all that
is fantastic. I love that whole universe.
We'll discuss that at another point in time. I told you, I read it, and I was just like, wow, really? We could have gone so many different ways, and Batman saves the day. Spoiler alert.
Did he?
You know, I was just like, oh, it could have gone so many different ways.
Right, we can have this conversation for probably 3 hours. So let's go into the reading, watching. We won't take too much more time. All
right, give me 2 seconds because my phone's about to die.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah. All right. So how about Matt? Do you want to start it off while?
Yeah. Okay. So I finished Ready Player One again.
Oh, I thought you should. All right. I thought you said I thought Ready Player 2 for some reason.
No, but I'm apparently, so you know how libraries get books early sometimes?
Uh-huh.
So I saw online someone last week, a library put out their copy of Ready Player 2 early by accident. So someone has it. Someone checked out from the library.
Really? You've done that the whole time. You look great now.
Yeah, no, I just realized that. But
you look great. Yeah, but it's an amazing book. It's so fun to read. It's not the best written book, but it's just like I read it in like 3 sittings.
I mean, it's like you're not going into that to read like some great American novel. It's not just so much fun, and it's so much like for people who love that stuff. Like if you're a comic book fan and you love comics, you have to freaking read this book. Like it has everything that you love.
And if you grew up in the 80s, I mean, it's more of a nostalgic. I mean, that's really what it is. Mm-hmm. It's like, wow, like this is what I grew up with.
I'll get to it once I finish reading Dune.
That's too long.
That's a long one.
2025.
Yeah, so I finished that last week.
Ready Player 4 will be out by the time you
probably.
So that's all I've read. I haven't read any comics, but I did watch this show, like the first show I watched in a while, besides like Mandalorian. Have you guys heard of Evil?
Yeah, it's awesome.
On CBS. Oh my god, amazing! It's 1 season so far. Season 2's in the works, but it's not filming because of Corona. But it's amazing.
I think I saw the first 4 episodes of that. It's crazy.
It's awesome. It's about this clinical psychologist who, like gets hired by this priest in training, played by Michael Coulter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and they basically go and like debunk, miracles and possessions and exorcisms and stuff. And
I like the girl in that.
yeah, she's awesome. I don't remember her name, but she's really good.
She's
Michael
been a lot of-
Emerson's in it. He plays a creepy villain as usual. It's
Who
awesome.
is?
Michael Emerson from Lost.
Michael
I used
Emerson.
to.
He's the little
Michael-
guy with the glasses.
Oh,
Freaks me
yeah.
out.
Yeah, he's such a good creepy guy.
He was in that other show too, like Numbers or something like that, right? Or,
Person of interest.
yeah, the one with Caviezel, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What's her name? Katjar Herbs?
She's really good.
I like her.
Evil.
And she's Dutch. I don't know how to
Evil.
pronounce it. Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
But
Sorry, what were you gonna say,
creepy
Oz?
guy, so he, I used to work. Remember I used to deliver soda, juices, and stuff to bars and restaurants,
Mhm.
and he always used to be eating at this one place in the city. The creepy guy from
Michael Emerson. Really?
Yeah, and he'd be sitting there, and then one day he finally caught me looking at him, and he was just like, "Yes, it's me," and I just started laughing because he was just like, he just would sit there by himself at the counter and just eat and like reading a book, but I'd always see him every time I went in on Tuesdays. He was always there. Like,
That's
what
funny.
I like him because he's got that like a serial killer look to him.
Yeah.
And I think he fits
Right.
perfectly in the shows like that.
Yeah, it's an awesome show. It's not necessarily a horror show either, because it's like it mostly focuses on like the science behind it, but it's really cool.
That girl was in Westworld.
Yeah, and
Yes.
something else. I don't remember what else.
So it's funny. This other guy, this like Indian guy, I met that guy
He's really good too.
years before he became famous.
Really?
He was like a random terrorist in what's that movie with Denzel
Bruce-
Washington?
Yeah,
The
Bruce Willis,
Siege and Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
He's like some random guy, and we were like in 6th grade, and we were like hanging out right outside Denzel Washington's like little camper or whatever. And this guy walked by, like, oh, because we saw him like filming a scene. He's like, oh, can we take a picture? He's like, oh, I'm a nobody. I was like, oh, we don't care. You're in a movie. You're somebody.
Wait, do you have a picture with him somewhere?
No, I don't. Like he was
Oh.
like, I didn't even have a camera. Like he was like, you don't want to talk to me. I'm no one. Like I gotta walk like 6 blocks away to get to my trailer.
He was also in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
he
he
was one of the scientists or something like that, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
He was in that Vince Vaughn movie and Owen Wilson movie where they worked at
love
Google.
The internship.
The
I
internship.
love that movie. That was great.
He was the boss at Google.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's why we do what we do.
yeah. But anyway, great show. You guys should watch it. It's good.
Yeah, I'm watching
Cool.
it.
All right, Ozzie, you want to go next? We usually let our guests go first, but you ran away.
I'm trying to get through Dune. It's been an ongoing struggle.
How far in are you?
God, the Harkonnens even haven't taken over the attack yet. Like,
I'm going to tell you, I read Dune earlier this year.
Yeah,
It
Dune
was
is
one of
unbelievable.
the most difficult books to get through that I've ever read. More difficult than all 3 Lord of the Rings books.
Ooh,
It's a lot
And
of
there's
like
a lot I don't remember of it too.
yeah,
Like it feels like it just went by and I was like, what happened? You know?
I hate books like that.
It's tough. People love it, and it's a great story, but it's tough to get through. It's like you got to be into that style.
as far as comic book goes, I mean, mostly independent titles. Something is Killing the Children, that Tinian's writing. It's fantastic. Just picked up that crossover.
if there was one title that you would recommend to somebody from the independent side, what would it be?
Invincible.
Yeah,
Okay.
amazing.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's still the greatest comic book I ever read. I still have not read the last arc because I don't want it to end. That's
All right.
yeah, by
And
far the
it's
best.
consistently good.
Yeah.
It doesn't have lulls.
No, and it's always changing. Even though when you think you know what's going to happen, it's not what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
it's fantastic.
Kirkman's great at that.
Yeah.
As far as I'm watching, Mandalorian, Evil.
Of course.
I mean, can we not say The Mandalorian is awesome?
It is
Oh, yeah.
awesome, yeah.
The last one was so good.
Well, but
Oh,
the Clone Wars tie-in was amazing.
Yeah.
It was all that being tied in.
It took me a second to realize that was her.
Yeah.
So I didn't know she voiced the character. I thought it was just like she was being shown. I didn't know she was actually the voice on the
she
show
was-
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
which was really cool. That was awesome. And then what else? I started. I'm actually watching Naruto again, the anime.
Nice.
Just because they're 20-minute episodes. I can watch them when I'm like got some downtime. Just knock it out, and it's actually like I forgot how good it was. The first like 2 seasons are really campy and childish, but once you get past that, it really does get really good.
Did you ever watch Avatar, Ozzie?
Yeah, I did. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. That's like the similar to that. The beginning is very childish, but it gets like serious. I was telling these guys a few episodes ago.
It's a really weird dark turn. I forgot, like in season 3, how dark it gets.
Yeah. All those anime and noir cartoony shows do.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Cool.
What about you, JJ? What do you got?
So we need to go back to the Mandalorian. I mean, come on, guys.
Sure, let's do it. Let's talk about Mandalorian.
This last episode was just totally mind-boggling. I mean, it blew my head off. Like I couldn't. It was one of those moments when you're laying on the couch and you're watching, and then all of a sudden my feet are on the couch, going, "Oh my god!" Like, visually, I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard, she is awesome. Absolutely amazing. I've only known her from the Jurassic Park movies. I didn't know she was a director, like her dad. Like
it helps to have a lot of advice a phone call away.
And I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, I realized when I saw it, I thought I've seen these scenes before, and I got confirmation of that later on, but because she tweeted. But she paid tribute to her dad with the whole scene where the Razor Crest is coming in, landing. You see it. It was on fire. You had the condensation dropping down, and it was a tribute to her dad for Apollo 13.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a scene by. If you go to her Twitter, she does a scene by scene with Apollo 13 and her scene, and they're identical. And it was just so cool to see that. And when I first saw it, I was like, wow, I've seen this before. It's kind of weird that because you never see any of the ships coming in for a landing. You never see them on fire. Like coming into the atmosphere.
Yeah,
you never see
I was thinking that it was like real because you didn't have the guide, they didn't have the guidance, whatever. But
she needs to do more of this. She hit it out of the park with.
I hope they keep this group of directors that they have like rotating the episodes.
I do like that they have it. It's very like they have specialized people for each episode.
TC, who's directing the next episode?
Who is
Carl Weathers?
Is he really?
Yeah.
I think that's when he makes his return too. I think he's in that episode as well.
And I also don't think are we talking spoilers?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think Ahsoka is going to be in the next one.
I don't think so.
Because Dave Filoni's directing the one after it, and I'm almost positive she'll come up in that one.
So it seems to be very formulaic with whatever they allude to in one episode, you don't see it until like the second episode.
I kind of like that.
It's okay. Yeah,
you don't know when it's going to come back.
I'm okay with like filler episodes as long as they like add to the story. I feel like the last one, like episode 2 of this season, was probably the one I liked the least out of all the Mandalorian so far.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I actually
with Frog Lady.
I liked it. I liked it because it was a lot. Even visually. I mean, you
visually
got
was great with those spiders.
Yeah,
it was in Harry Potter and the Forbidden Forest.
I think it was the weakest one, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, it's great. But this last episode, I mean, we got Mandalorians. We talk about Mandalore. Yeah. We bring back people that we've seen in the animation, and we got more stormtroopers. We got a little bit more on the Empire side because I mean this does take place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so the galaxy is in turmoil. So you really don't know what's going on and where these guys are supposed to be. But here we got flashy, brand new stormtroopers in glossy armor who still missed a lot of their shots. Kind of interesting.
Who did the first one? Do you guys know who directed the first one?
I'll tell you right now, Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
I was like that one was pretty amazing. Like who put the work in? So Jon Favreau did that one himself.
So when do we think we're going to see Boba again?
I don't think you're going to.
Do we think we're going to in Mandalorian?
I don't think you're going to see him in this season. I think you're going to see them in a new series, and then he may come back in the third. That's what I think.
Really? Wow.
I don't think you're going to see him.
I thought that. I don't think they'd introduce him here and then not do something with him and have him chase after Mando with the armor to try and get the armor back.
I think it'll be at the end of the season.
Maybe
like
last episode.
Yeah.
Like a
you have a soak in the whole thing and everything. Yeah.
So this takes place after Return of the Jedi, right?
5 years.
So Ahsoka's got to be a lot older than we saw her even in Rebels.
Right.
Yeah.
Like 30 years older, 25 years older. I don't know the timeline, but
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I was wondering that too. I mean, she's got to be way older.
Because she was an adult in Rebels, essentially.
Well, we don't know how her race ages either, though.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Another.
So I
definitely.
Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, out of my two favorite, I mean, outside of the ones that Jon Favreau has been doing, I do love Bryce Dallas Howard because that's the season before she did that one with like the first like where he runs into Cara Dune the first time, right? On that like island with the big chicken walker.
She did that.
She did that one too. She blew that one out of the water also.
And then she did
the Waititi guy. I don't know.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, I love those two. They've been like knocking.
The other one's good too. Deborah Chow.
Black guy.
I don't remember.
I forgot his name. He's really good too.
And you see them like redoing, the walkers.
Rick Famuyiwa.
Here we got an AT-AT with a big giant crane on it. Like this is stuff like we want to see. Like this is just it's absolutely amazing. So
it's been a love story. It's so funny. I saw this this meme and I got so scared at first because I thought it was serious. It was like what's the guy's name who Pedro Pascal has reportedly broken his back. I was like, oh my god. Dude, from carrying the Star Wars franchise. I was like, oh, thank God, it's a joke.
Oh, it's been, but we've only seen him once in the whole show.
No, I mean, I don't want to see him again.
I saw a video of him doing voiceover for the character, and he was holding like a pillow, like he was carrying Baby Yoda, like while he was doing the voiceover. It was funny as hell.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. All right, so that's my rant. That's what I've been watching. I'm on volume 12 of The Boys.
Oh, nice.
So I'm on the last volume. It's what a crazy book this is. I mean, the whole series from 1 to 12. I love it. The problem is a lot of it. There's a lot of dialogue. There's like one whole volume is like Butcher going back from when he was in the war, and it got a lot wordy. I mean, it took me forever to read through that. But I'm at the point right now, like. I think I'm in the middle or towards the end of the last volume, but it's fantastic, and it's just like the movie, the shows, the TV. It's very violent, it's very sexual, it's
more than violent.
It is well, yeah. I mean, the whole disintegration of all these people, like it's amazing. It's amazing.
Probably more so than the show, right?
I don't want the show. I'm hoping the show doesn't go that far because I love it. It's I don't know. We'll see what happens with the show. I love the show. I'm obsessed with the show. But the book was like, wow. I'm glad I'm almost done with it. But yeah, that's what I've been reading.
Nice stuff.
TC, finish this up.
So reading, I've been kind of light on it. The only thing recent I read The Three Jokers. Wasn't impressed by that. It ended really flat. I think I said that even last time. The White Knight stuff, I'm reading the Harley one now. I think I've only read the first one so far. I think the second one's come out. I haven't read that one yet, but I like it so far. And X-Men, of course. So I'm in like a couple issues after the whole Onslaught stuff. So this is the 90s stuff. It's getting like a little like, I think they're trying to like figure out what they want to do next here, but I'm struggling through some of the X-Men stuff. So not reading anything that's like knocking my socks off right now. But what I'm watching, and I spoke about this earlier, is I'm watching that Ducktales XD Disney series, and oh my god, like I granted like the animation is very different. It's got a lot of that like half computer, half like hand-drawn thing, which it's never going to be as sharp as the 80s stuff. I think that stuff was that's the golden age of cartoons as far as I'm concerned. Everything before that was like practice until they got to that. But the stories are so good. These aren't made for kids. These are definitely targeted at everyone, like probably specifically in my age, maybe a little older and younger, who watch that afternoon Disney stuff. There are Easter eggs every single episode. There's references that there's no way kids are getting right now to older stuff. I mean, Launchpad is like a Darkwing Duck TV show fan. Like, so Darkwing Duck is involved in this universe, and like he's like, oh, it's like an old TV series, and like I live by this thing. I was like, you were in it. It's amazing. They flipped some of like the boring characters. Webby now, she's not like always in trouble. She's like, you know, a BA character. She's like knows martial arts, and like Mrs. Beagley is like this former like secret agent. It's literally a fantastic show. They have great voices of people doing it. I would never in a million years have expected myself to be promoting a show like this, like an older show, especially a remake of something I loved as a kid. But it is 100% phenomenal. Somebody who loved the original will love this. Anyone who, especially if you watched the other Disney stuff too. I mean, it's literally that. But that's my piece. And if anyone disagrees with me, you can meet me in the ring at Gleason's.
Wow.
So does that give you hope for Masters of the Universe?
The cartoon?
Yeah.
It doesn't. I feel like they're not linked up at all. But
Well, I mean, does like what they've done here, does that give you hope for what you might see there?
so the thing that I am hopeful in terms of that is you can definitely tell the people who have created and are running the show have so much love and respect for the product, for the, you know, for the story and the characters. And I know the people working on Master of the Universe, I know Kevin Smith really enjoys those characters, and I'm hoping that everyone else involved with it too. Is listen, I'm not expecting to see the same art that I saw in, you know, the Filmation. I mean, was that the greatest at the time? No, like you can tell, like the cells, like the background never changed. It was the same background over and over, and the characters only moved. I mean, as long as they don't go too crazy with the art, like as long as they don't go like Thundercats roar with the art, I'm open to, like, you know, a modern interpretation of it, as long as the story, as they pay respect to the story.
I feel
Like
so
if-
bad for that guy.
Yeah. And, you know, so I'm sorry to add on to this, is that the thing that I love about this, and the thing that used to stink with like the older stuff, is there's no continuity in like the older cartoons. Like when I was growing up, like one episode was like, that's it. And you're never going to hear anything about like what happened in that episode ever again, unless it was like a 2-part episode, a specific 2-part episode. Now, like you're getting this stuff where it's like, it's leading to a whole point. Like there's season finales, and like, you know, stuff that happened in this episode is going to be connected later on to this episode. I mean, they're building an actual universe out of this. They're connecting all those old shows. Like there's reference to the Gummy Bears. There's reference to Tailspin. There's reference. The villain from Tailspin. That was the only thing. I didn't like his voice, and I didn't like Magic at the Spell. They used to have like the greatest, most ridiculous voices, and they changed them. So, but I mean, they're paying tribute to like all the stuff in that universe, and you know, I love it, and I love that Donald, you know, is part of the show too. Not as big of a part, but you know, he's part of the show too, and it's just great. Honestly, like again, like I'm not the type of person that would say that this is something you should watch. So if you're hearing me say that, you can take it. That's good.
Okay.
That's it.
Very nice.
Anybody have anything else?
I got nothing to add.
Nothing.
All right, guys. So even though that really exciting election is now over, you can't vote for that anymore. If you still have that voting bug, though, if you still really want to vote so much, if you miss seeing all those vote things on every social media site you go to, you can still vote for us on Best of LI. Under Arts and Entertainment, scroll down to Podcasts, and you will find Don't Feed the Geeks there. Hit that vote button, and you have until December 15th to vote, and you can vote once a day, every day, and we really appreciate if you guys do that. And of course, as always, you can see on the screen down here, you can follow us on social media at LI Comic Guys and at Don't Feed the Geeks. And that's about it.
And
Do we have anything else going on?
Yeah, we'll I threw up. Here we go. You guys can also check out Best Comics. They got their website right there, bestcomics.com, or on Instagram at Best Comics New York. NY.
You guys better follow them, because Odds and the team there always put stuff up, and it doesn't last long. You guys are lucky that I decided not to buy that first Omega Red that they had in the store at 9.8. He had it on for literally 10 seconds, and it was gone when he went. But I think that's it. I think we'll announce it now, because I don't think we've officially said it yet, right? Next book club is going to be in December. We don't have an official date, but we'll add on to what Toy Story is saying. We are going to be reading an actual novel book Ready Player
Guys, you're coming. Yes,
Yes,
real
that's gonna-
books.
That's going to be our December book club. So if you guys want to check out that, make sure you read it. It's coming out when? November 30th?
20-something, 26, I believe.
26th.
So you'll probably have at least 2 to 3 weeks to read it before we do an episode on it. Book club on it. So you have some time, but not a ton of time. But I think that's it.
Mhm.
Anything else? Did I miss anything?
Don't think so.
I didn't miss that. All right, guys. Well, remember, until next time.
Go Feed the Geeks!